Even when there may appear to be little of interest outside, you can always find stones. But what can you do with a stone? Well, quite a lot as it turns out. If you're looking for cheap, easy, fun activities for the kids this summer, try some of the things on this list. Even when there may appear to be little of interest outside, you can always find stones. But what can you do with a stone? Well, quite a lot. Number 1, paint them. A lovely creative activity this. You can varnish them too to help the design to last longer. Let the children be as imaginative as they like. This is also great for fine motor skills practice. Use them as loose parts and arrange them in a pattern. You can simply draw a line or a design and ask the child to position the stones along the lines or to fill in the design. Handling the loose parts is great for developing fine motor skills, and placing them with control develops coordination. The time taken for this style of activity also helps to extend the time that a child will concentrate and focus on a particular task. The idea of following the line from left to right is also important for early reading and writing. And of course you can count them. For a simple maths activity, ask the child to find a particular number of stones. Count them as they collect them. Here we're using the Curious Kids 101 Counting to 10 pack to help with this. You can extend this by doing some simple calculations. For example, if you have 4 stones and I give you 2 more, how many will you have now? You can stack them. Try and make a stacking sculpture. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Stones are not flat or regular shapes, so this adds a challenge to the tower creation. The children have to consider forces and balance as they create their design. There'll probably be plenty of trial and error. Challenge your child to see how many rocks they can balance in their tower. You can order them from biggest to smallest. Once you've collected a range of rocks, they can be ordered in terms of size. You could encourage measuring the rocks too. Try using a ruler with older children. Younger children, you might want to use something like blocks. How many blocks long is this stone? Occasionally you can find stones with holes in, or shells for that matter. These are great for threading. With my kids, when they started threading, we used a pipe cleaner instead of string, as it's a little bit easier to handle because of the stiffness in the pipe cleaner. But it still practices all the same coordination skills. You could also use a shoelace or a piece of string. Add a bit of tape on the end if you're using string though, to just give it a bit more rigidity. Or you can drop them into water. When they were little, the simple game of dropping stones into a bucket of water will keep my kids busy for ages. We listened to the sounds that they made and tried to make the sounds too. We watched the splashes and the ripples that they made. As they got older, I would ask them to close their eyes and listen as I dropped the stones in, and then ask them how many noises they heard. This is great for counting and also aids concentration because it's an active listening activity. They have to listen and count. The stones can also be sorted. There's a lot more variation between stones than you might think. Encourage the child to look in detail at the stones that they've collected. Describe them. Are they sharp and spiky, or smooth and rounded? What colour are they? Using these ideas, can they sort the rocks into different categories? You can make a stepping stones path too. Large stones can be collected and positioned to create a set of stepping stones across your grass. Challenge the child to balance along them without stepping off. This really helps their gross motor skills. Use them for a game of hopscotch. For further gross motor skills, you can play the traditional game of hopscotch. This can also aid number recognition. Throwing rocks at a target. Rocks are good projectiles, and most kids would like to throw rocks given the chance. So, best to plan to allow this to happen in a controlled way. I like to be on the beach and dig a little hole in the sand and challenge the kids to throw the stones into it from an ever-increasing distance. Obviously, check that it's a quiet area of the beach and they're not throwing towards people. The holes could be numbered too, and this can add an extra maths element to the activity, or even turn it into a competition with older children. So there you are, some simple ideas of fun activities for the kids, using rocks and little else. A perfect, cheap family activity that can be done quickly and easily. Which of these activities is your favourite?